Did you know that Finland, the happiest country in the world, spends entire months without seeing the sun, only to enjoy summers where night never falls? That in its skies dance the most spectacular northern lights on the planet, and beneath its ground lies one of the largest bunker systems in the world, capable of protecting its entire population, and that its territory, covered by more than 188,000 lakes and tens of thousands of islands, forms a natural labyrinth so vast it seems endless. Finland is much more than snow and silence. It's a land of contrasts, of innovation and wild nature, where technology lives in harmony with the myths of the forest. Get ready, because today you'll discover 50 incredible facts about Finland that will change the way you see this extraordinary country forever. 50. The Baltic Shield beneath your feet. Finland sits firmly on one of the oldest and most stable geological structures on Earth, the Baltic Shield. This ancient bedrock, formed billions of years ago, creates a landscape dominated by granite, gneiss, and rugged formations shaped by unimaginable time. The shield's stability is the reason Finland has no active volcanoes or major earthquakes, yet it also explains the country's dramatic boulder fields, polished rock surfaces, and endless low hills. Walking across Finland is essentially walking on Earth's deep geological past, rocks older than the oldest forests and older than complex life itself. 49. The world's largest archipelago by number of islands. Most people associate island nations with enormous archipelagos, but Finland actually has the largest number of islands in the world, with more than 188,000 scattered across its territory. These islands vary from tiny rocky outcrops to forested habitats with their own micro-communities. The archipelago stretches across the Gulf of Finland, the Gulf of Bothnia, and the complex lake systems inland. This immense network of fragments and islets traces back to glacial retreat, which carved and scattered land masses on a colossal scale. 48. Lake Saimaa, a freshwater maze. Lake Saimaa, Finland's largest lake, forms a labyrinth of more than 14,000 islands and channels that extend across southeastern Finland. Its geological history is tied to the melting of the last ice age, when vast amounts of water flooded the region and carved deep basins in the soft bedrock. The result is a lake system so complex that navigating it can feel like moving through shifting corridors of water and forest. Saimaa is also the home of the Saimaa ringed seal, one of the world's rarest seals made possible by the lake's isolated geography. 47. Lapland's polar day and night. The northernmost part of Finland crosses the Arctic Circle, creating extreme light cycles that define the region. In summer, Lapland experiences the midnight sun, when daylight persists 24 hours a day. In winter, the polar night reverses the effect, surrounding the landscape in darkness, except for brief blue-toned twilight. These phenomena happen because of Earth's axial tilt combined with Finland's high latitude, creating one of the most surreal natural experiences available anywhere in Europe. 46. Finland's 40 national parks. Finland's geography is so varied, from wetlands to Arctic tundra, that the country has designated 40 national parks, each preserving distinct ecosystems. Some protect ancient boreal forests, others immense fens, and others glacial uplands. The density and scale of these parks reflect Finland's commitment to natural conservation and its vast amount of wilderness relative to population size. Before continuing, be sure to subscribe and leave a like to become an expert on the geography of our world. 45. The land of 187,088 lakes. Finland is globally known as the land of 1,000 lakes, but that phrase is a huge understatement. The real number is closer to 188,000. These lakes formed through glacial erosion and meltwater collection after the last ice age. Their sheer density creates a shimmering mosaic that covers more than 10% of Finland's total area, making it one of the most water-rich countries in the world. 44. The Åland Islands demilitarized geography. The Åland archipelago sits in a strategic location between Finland and Sweden, yet it is entirely demilitarized by international agreement. Its geography, thousands of flat, polished rocks rising from the sea, made the region historically significant for naval travel. Today, the islands serve as a bridge between Nordic cultures, shaped by maritime routes more than by land. 43. Finland's post-glacial rebound. Finland is literally rising from the sea after being weighed down by massive ice age glaciers. The land is experiencing post-glacial rebound, rising up to 8 millimeters per year in some areas. Coastlines shift, new islands appear, and harbors slowly become too shallow. Entire towns have had to adjust their infrastructure to account for this slow, persistent geological lift. 42. Kolli's ancient quartzite peaks. Kolli National Park features some of Finland's oldest exposed rocks. White quartzite peaks formed around 2 billion years ago. These highlands rise above Lake Pelinen, providing sweeping views across forests and water. The dramatic elevation, rare for Finland, comes from resistant bedrock that withstood millions of years of erosion. 41. Finland's 75,000 islands in the Baltic alone. Within the Baltic Sea alone, Finland has more islands than any other country on Earth. This part of the archipelago is shaped by glacial retreat, leaving behind a fractured coastal zone. Many islands are uninhabited, forested, or so small that they barely break the waterline, yet each contributes to the world's most intricate coastal geography. 40. Ulenka's hanging canyons. Ulenka National Park features rare canyon formations for Finland, where ancient rivers cut deep grooves into hard rock. These gorges are lined with suspension bridges and roaring rapids, showcasing landscapes reminiscent of Scandinavian fells and Siberian taiga. Ulenka's mixed geography makes it one of Finland's most visually diverse regions. 39. The Saimaa Canal, a waterway through bedrock. Connecting Lake Saimaa to the Gulf of Finland required cutting through ancient hard rock, creating the Saimaa Canal. The waterway links deep inland lake systems to the Baltic Sea, allowing ships to travel hundreds of kilometers inland. Its geography demanded extensive excavation and precise water level control due to Finland's changing elevation. 38. The Bothnian Bay's ice roads. In winter, the northern part of the Bothnian Bay freezes so solidly that Finland builds official ice roads across the sea surface. These seasonal highways depend on the unique combination of shallow waters and consistent Arctic cold. The geography creates a rare natural phenomenon where the sea transforms into a temporary transportation network. 37. The 1,000-kilometer spine of the Scandinavian mountains. Though Finland is flatter than Norway or Sweden, the tail end of the Scandinavian mountains extends into Finnish Lapland. These fells, or tunturi, are ancient, eroded remnants of once towering peaks. Their rounded summits and treeless slopes create sweeping Arctic vistas in some of Finland's harshest weather conditions. 36. Hasa's crystal clear waters. Hasa National Park is renowned for its exceptionally clear lakes and rivers. The secret lies in the mineral-poor soil and slow-moving water, which filters itself through sand and gravel layers. The result is visibility so sharp that stones, fish, and underwater forests appear magnified beneath the surface. 35. The Gulf of Bothnia's rising islands. Nowhere is Finland's land uplift more visible than the Gulf of Bothnia, where new islands form regularly. Reefs become islets, islets become islands, and shorelines stretch outward. Entire archipelagos are growing in real time, creating living laboratories for geologists. 34. Pyhä-Luosto's ancient peaks. Pyhä-Luosto National Park is home to Finland's oldest mountain range, over 2 billion years old. Once comparable to the Alps, these mountains have been worn down into round-topped fells. Their age and composition make them a window into Earth's early tectonic past. 33. Finland's 23,000 kilometers of coastline. Counting every island, inlet, and twist, Finland's total coastline exceeds 23,000 kilometers, longer than many much larger nations. This astonishing number comes from its fragmented archipelagos and deeply carved coastal geography. It's a coastline shaped by ice, not by tides. 32. The Arctic desert of Kilpisjärvi in the northwest sits in one of Finland's most extreme environments. Its geography resembles an Arctic desert with sparse vegetation, high winds, and harsh winters. The surrounding fells, including Sana and Halti, create a high-altitude landscape unlike anywhere else in the country. 31. Halti Sera, Finland's roof. Halti, the country's highest point at 1,324 meters, sits on the border with Norway. Technically, Finland's summit is a slope of a much larger Norwegian mountain, but its geography gives Finland a dramatic alpine landmark. Halti rises above surrounding tundra like a frozen fortress, offering sweeping views of wild Lapland. 30. Finland's midnight sun line across Rovaniemi. Rovaniemi, known globally as the official hometown of Santa Claus, sits almost exactly on the Arctic Circle. But beyond the tourism appeal, that invisible geographic boundary marks where the midnight sun officially begins. Every summer, Rovaniemi receives the exact threshold of continuous daylight. The sun touches but never dips below the horizon. This razor-thin geographical line means that just a few kilometers north, you can experience full polar daylight, while a few kilometers south, night briefly returns. No other Nordic city sits so precisely on such a globally recognized geographic divider. 29. Europe's largest lake district. Finland's lake district isn't only vast, it's the single largest in all of Europe. Stretching across the eastern and central parts of the country, it forms a mosaic of waters, forest capes, and narrow channels that feel more like a flooded continent than terrain shaped by ice. The density of lakes alters local climate, creates unique ecosystems, and historically functioned as Finland's transportation grid long before modern roads existed. The region is so labyrinthine that maps are essential even for locals who have lived there for generations. 28. Finland has one of the deepest snow covers in the EU. In Lapland, yearly snowfall accumulations regularly exceed a meter, sometimes two, making it one of the snow-heaviest regions in all of Europe. The geography plays a direct role. High-latitude Arctic air collides with moisture from the Baltic and the Barents Sea, creating a snow engine that blankets the northern landscape for up to 8 months of the year. This deep snowpack shapes everything, including reindeer migration routes, building foundations, and seasonal travel. 27. The archipelago's sea's shallow depths between Turku and the Åland Islands lies the Archipelago Sea, a region with more islands than open water. What most people don't realize is how shallow it is, typically only 5 to 20 meters deep. This unusual geography causes warm summers, quick freezes in winter, and unpredictable navigation for ships. The sea behaves like a living organism, warming rapidly, cooling rapidly, constantly reshaping its banks and channels. 26. Finland's extensive peatlands. Peatlands cover almost 1/3 of Finland, one of the highest proportions in the world. These vast mires, bogs, and fens dominate the landscape in a way unfamiliar to most Europeans. Their formation stems from Finland's flat terrain, slow water drainage, and cool climate, which preserve partially decayed vegetation for centuries. Many of these peatlands are protected because they store enormous amounts of carbon and host unique plant species like cloudberries and carnivorous sundews. 25. The Northern Lights Corridor. Lapland sits directly beneath the Aurora Oval, the atmospheric ring where charged solar particles collide with Earth's magnetic field. Because of Finland's position and its low pollution levels, the northern lights are visible in Lapland for nearly 200 nights per year. Geography determines everything. The higher you go, especially above 67 degree latitude, the more the sky becomes a natural theater of green, purple, and even crimson curtains dancing across the horizon. 24. The Manzilka Watershed Divide. Running through eastern and northern Finland is the Manzilka Watershed Divide, a subtle but significant geographical backbone. It determines the direction of the nation's water flow. Some rivers drain toward the Arctic Ocean, others toward the Baltic Sea, and some toward massive inland lake systems. This invisible line shapes ecosystems, fish populations, and even the cultural regions that formed around these ancient waterways. 23. One of the lowest population densities in Europe. Finland's geography contributes to its remarkably low population density, around 18 people per square kilometer. Vast forests, extensive wetlands, and large lake systems create natural barriers that historically limited settlement spread. The result is a country where wilderness dominates and where entire regions can feel untouched despite being only a few hours from major cities. 22. Finland's 3 main climate zones. Finland's geography divides the nation into 3 major climate zones. Boreal in the south, influenced by the Baltic Sea. Boreal across the majority of the country. Subarctic in Lapland. These zones shift gradually, creating marked differences in vegetation, snow seasons, and daylight cycles. Traveling north through Finland is like moving through environmental chapters. Lush mixed forests become dark conifer belts, and finally open Arctic tundra. 21. The Blue Highway Route. Finland is part of the Blue Highway, a transnational route that follows ancient waterways from Norway to Russia through Sweden and Finland. Geographically, this path traces natural corridors carved by glaciers, linking lakes and rivers that allowed prehistoric movement across the region. It's one of the most geographically logical travel routes ever established in Northern Europe. 20. Lake Päijänne. Finland's deepest lake. Lake Päijänne reaches depths of 95 meters, making it the deepest freshwater body in Finland. This depth, created by glacial scouring, allows the lake to function as a cold, clean water reservoir for millions of people. Helsinki even receives drinking water through a massive tunnel drilled directly through bedrock, bringing Päijänne's pure water all the way to the capital. What a 19, the thousands of eskers across the country. Finland's landscape is lined with long, winding gravel ridges called eskers, formed when meltwater rivers flowed under glaciers during the Ice Age. These ridges can stretch for tens of kilometers and often rise dramatically above flat surroundings. Today they serve as natural highways for forests, wildlife routes, and even modern roads because they remain stable, elevated, and well drained. 18. The Sida of Inari's Arctic geography. Around Lake Inari lies a geography shaped by both Arctic climate and Sami history. Inari sits far north, surrounded by taiga forests, tundra, and lakes carved from ancient glacial basins. The region's layered geography, water, rock, and forest created ideal conditions for Sami culture to develop reindeer herding, fishing communities, and nomadic traditions tied directly to the land. 17. Finland's border with Russia. Over 1,300 kilometers of wilderness. Finland shares one of Europe's longest and most remote borders with Russia. The geography is wild. Dense forests, bogs, and untouched nature stretch for hundreds of kilometers. This natural barrier historically protected Finland by making large-scale movement extremely difficult. Even today, parts of the border area feel completely untouched, with brown bears, lynx, and wolves dominating the ecosystem. 16. The Tornio River, a free-flowing border. The Tornio River forms a natural border between Finland and Sweden. What makes it geographically unique is that it remains completely free-flowing, without dams. This allows salmon to migrate unhindered, creating one of Europe's most important salmon-spawning rivers. The river's geography has shaped towns, trade, and cultural exchange for centuries. 15. Finland's highest waterfall, Heppokongas. Although Finland is known for gentle terrain, Heppokongas stands out as one of its tallest waterfalls, plunging 24 meters into a canyon-like gorge. The waterfall exists because of a rare combination of hard bedrock layers overlaying softer ones. Glacial erosion exposed the weaker strata, creating a dramatic drop. For a flat country, it feels unexpectedly powerful. 14. The Karelia region's rugged bedrock. Karelia, along Finland's eastern frontier, features some of the most rugged and exposed bedrock in the country. This is part of the Karelian Craton, one of Earth's ancient continental building blocks. The terrain is marked by steep rocky ridges, narrow lakes, and dramatic valleys. This geography has created a cultural region defined by its isolation, forests, and legends tied to the land itself. 13. Hailuoto, the island that keeps growing. Hailuoto, located in the northern Gulf of Bothnia, is literally expanding. Due to post-glacial rebound, the island grows several centimeters each year. What was once a cluster of islets has merged into a single island, and projections show it will eventually connect to the mainland. It's a rare chance to witness geography actively reshaping itself within human lifetimes. 12. Finland's network of rapids and white water. Despite its calm stereotype, Finland has thousands of rapids formed by steep gradients between lakes. These whitewater channels powered early mills, shaped settlement patterns, and remain hotspots for migratory fish species. Their presence reveals how glacial carving created sudden drops even in an otherwise gentle landscape. 11. The Arctic tundra of Utsjoki. Utsjoki is the only municipality in Finland where the majority of the territory lies above the tree line. This tundra zone is a geographical rarity in Europe, dominated by dwarf shrubs, lichen fields, bare ground, and harsh winds. The conditions mirror those of the true Arctic, showing how Finland's northernmost tip crosses into an entirely different biome than the rest of the country. Before moving on to the top 10, remember to join the Geography family by subscribing to the channel and leaving your like. 10. The birth of Finland's landscape, the retreating ice giants. Finland's entire modern geography, its lakes, ridges, fells, islands, and plains begins with the monumental retreat of the last Ice Age glaciers. These titanic ice sheets were over 2 kilometers thick in places, crushing the land beneath them with unimaginable weight. As the climate warmed around 10,000 years ago, the ice began to withdraw, melting into massive torrents that reshaped valleys, carved new lake basins, and deposited tons of gravel and long ridges that still define the country today. Every shimmering lake, every split island, every esker path is a scar of that slow-motion planetary transformation. That means when you look across Finland's calm forests and still waters, What you are truly seeing is the footprint of vanished giants that sculpted the entire Nordic world. 9. The Archipelago Ring Road, a journey through a broken continent. Few places on Earth offer a route like Finland's Archipelago Ring Road, a loop through thousands of islands connected by bridges, ferries, causeways, and narrow roads that twist across fractured bedrock. What makes this geography so extraordinary is the sense that the land has shattered into pieces, floating like green jewels scattered across a crystal blue canvas. These islands are remnants of continental crust lifted and cracked by post-glacial rebound, revealing granite spines shaped by ice and sea. Traveling the Ring Road is like driving across a geography textbook, where every turn reveals a new chapter about erosion, tectonics, and the raw power of glaciers. It is one of the most surreal landscapes in Europe, not because it is dramatic or towering, but because it feels impossible, too fragmented to be real. 8. The Lapland Fells, Europe's oldest mountains laid bare. Before the Alps rose or the Rockies erupted skyward, the ancient mountains of northern Finland were already there. Towering peaks formed billions of years ago. Today, the Lapland Fells are mere shadows of their former height, worn down by continental shifts, erosion, and relentless ice age grinding. What remains is a hauntingly open landscape of rounded summits, wind-carved ridges, and tundra plains that stretch into the Arctic mist. The geography feels timeless, untouched by the chaos of modern tectonics. These fells provide a deep sense of Earth's age. A reminder that Finland's northern crown predates almost every mountain range still standing today. 7. Finland's lakes as climate regulators. Beyond their beauty, Finland's lakes fundamentally alter the country's climate. A vast network of water, nearly 190,000 lakes, acts like a giant thermal battery. In summer, lakes absorb heat. In winter, they slowly release it, moderating local temperatures. This thermal effect creates fogs, frost pockets, temperature inversions, and microclimates that dramatically shape ecosystems. Entire forests exist only because a lake nearby keeps the winter slightly milder or the summer slightly cooler. These climate regulating waters help explain why biodiversity patterns shift so subtly across Finland. Every lake is a tiny atmospheric engineer controlling humidity, wind, and seasonal behavior. 6. The geological border between East and West Europe. Hidden beneath Finland is a colossal tectonic boundary where ancient continental fragments collided. This invisible geological division runs through the country, separating two pieces of Earth's crust that were once thousands of kilometers apart. The collision fused them into the Finnish bedrock, creating zones of folded rock, mineral veins, and magnetic anomalies. That's why Finland is rich in rare minerals. Its underground geography is literally the scar of a continental collision billions of years old. Standing on Finnish ground means standing on a fault where worlds once collided and reshaped the early Earth. 5. Finland's coastline changes every year. Most coastlines erode or retreat, but Finland's does something extraordinary. It expands. Due to post-glacial rebound, the land rises faster than the sea level here, meaning Finland gains new coastal land annually. Harbors must be redredged, navigation charts updated, and new islands mapped regularly. In the Kvarken archipelago, you can watch new land formations emerging within a human lifetime. This dynamic geography makes Finland one of the few nations with a coastline that evolves naturally on a yearly basis, an ever-expanding border between land and sea. 4. Lake Inari's Arctic Depths. Lake Inari, one of Europe's largest Arctic lakes, holds a geography unlike anywhere else in Finland. Its waters are deep, dark, and cold, fed by surrounding highlands and ancient river networks. Hundreds of islands dot its surface, creating a maze of channels, bays, and sheltered coves that feel more like a northern sea than an inland lake. Inari's depth and isolation have preserved rare species and created microclimates that differ from surrounding tundra. Beneath its surface lie submerged valleys carved when glaciers retreated in massive surges, leaving behind a liquid landscape that feels both primordial and mysterious. 3. The Sami Geography, a cultural map written by nature. Before political borders existed, Sami geography defined northern Finland. Migration routes followed reindeer paths shaped by rivers, wetlands, and fells. Settlements formed around lakes and natural corridors created by glaciers. To understand Sami culture, you must understand the land, the tree line marking seasonal camps, the river systems guiding movement, the tundra controlling herding cycles, and the fells providing orientation in a world without roads. The geography of Finnish Lapland didn't just influence Sami life, it structured it. Even today, reindeer herding districts map almost perfectly onto natural divisions carved by the Ice Age. 2. The highest latitude forests in the world. Finland is home to some of the northernmost forests on Earth. These boreal woodlands stretch incredibly far into the Arctic, reaching latitudes where trees in other regions cannot survive. The resilience of Finnish forests comes from the moderating influence of the Atlantic Ocean, the insulating blanket of winter snow, and the slow evolution of cold-adapted species. These forests sit at the edge of survivability, where temperatures drop to 40 degrees Celsius and daylight can vanish for months. They represent the final frontier of tree life on the planet, a living testament to nature's ability to adapt to brutal conditions. 1. Finland, a landscape still reborn. Every day, what makes Finland geographically unique above everything else is that its landscape isn't static, it's still changing. The land is rising, the coastline expanding, the islands multiplying, the lakes shifting, the forests adapting, and the Arctic reshaping itself under new climate pressures. Finland is one of the rare countries where you can witness geological, climatic, and ecological evolution occurring in real time. Its geography is not a relic of the past, but a living, breathing system that transforms itself year after year. Few nations offer such a direct view into Earth's ongoing story, and that is what makes Finland's geography truly extraordinary. Now that you know these 50 facts about Finland, tell us, which one did you like the most, or which one surprised you the most? We'd love to read your opinion in the comments and see how many of us picked the same number. And something else many of us will probably agree on is watching the video I'm leaving on screen, because we all love sharing and learning interesting facts. And that's exactly what this video is all about. But before you watch it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Otherwise, we might not see each other again.